Hey guys, this is a little introduction or a tour of the KAY Trainer's Handbook. It's going to be filled with resources for things that you will need as a KAY trainer. There's so much to remember, to know. There's so many changes happening all the time. So this folder will keep you up to date and square, and anything you need to know should be in here. If it's not in there and you think it should be, you should definitely let me know so I can get it in there, or maybe explain why it's not in there, but hopefully get it in there because I want this thing to be great for everybody. So once I send the link to you for the handbook and you come into Drive and you see the folder, I highly suggest that you save it to your Drive. And if you're not sure how to do that, I can't show you with the KAY Trainer Handbook specifically because I own that, but with a different document. So for instance, I would come over to wherever the folder was, I would right click on it and you'll see where it says add to my Drive. Once you click that, it will be added to your Drive and you'll always be able to locate it. And at that point, you can manage it however you wish, move it around, put it wherever you want. But anyway, this is what it will look like when you open the Trainer Handbook. You see a couple of folders up here, and then you also see these loose documents. So let's go through the loose documents real quick. And then after this, I do want you to take some time going through these things, reading them, instructions on how to do things, maybe giving it a shot to see if you're able to do it. That way, when we have our final chat, you can ask me any questions about the handbook that came up as you were perusing. So the first thing is this form documents link. So it's got all important stuff that you might need. So your training location form, the estimate of trainer travel expenses. You should be submitting this only if you are traveling, like if you are getting on an airplane or you're traveling further than, 30 miles from your house or whatever, you should be filling out the travel expense form. And if you are doing that, please submit this before I contact the location to discuss the rental agreement and make arrangements, because your travel expenses definitely come into play when we're figuring those things out. The merchandise request form, this is something that has been saying coming soon for a while. I swear I'm going to get to it. I just haven't gotten it yet. Here is an example of a pre-training letter. Of course, you can download it and save it and edit it to be whatever you like. I don't think that you'll want exactly what it says. Everybody's got their own style and it's perfectly fine as long as the most important information is included. The post-training form is the form that you're going to fill out as close to when your training was over as possible. The sooner you get that into us, the sooner you will get your spreadsheet for payment and all that stuff sent to you. Who do I ask about what? This document is, you may or may not need to use this, but it basically has everybody on Team K listed and their sort of job duties. So if you're not sure who to contact about a certain thing, you can take a look on that sheet and see who that person might be. Of course, if you can't figure it out, you can always ask me. Training dates to avoid. This is great to use when you're thinking about where and when to have your trainings, right? Like we don't want to have them over holidays. We always want to think about what the school district calendar looks like in the city where we are. Certain cities have special events that you'll want to avoid those dates, things like that. And then your marketing timeline is here. Again, this is really just showing you, a recommended system for you marketing your trainings, when you should do certain pieces of that, how often you should do that. So take a look at that if you like. So that sheet has some great links for you. Most of these links are also in the trainers forum on Facebook. In the pinned post, actually I think it's called an announcement now, it's not a pinned post anymore, But if you click into that, you will see a lot of those exact same links listed. Here is the job descriptions page that was linked here that I showed you. This is it separately as well. Here is a copy of your KAY certificate. So this is what you're going to be sending to the printer when you get yours printed. The KAY certification comparison chart. I'm going to open it. This is a fabulous document. I used this one at my last training to sort of explain the difference between the 3 levels of, quote unquote, membership that we have. And I think it was super helpful for them to be able to understand it when it was shown in this way. So it's the difference between being a teacher, a KAY teacher, an OK Plus member, and a KAY licensee. So that's a great tool for you to even use to sort of make sure you understand what the differences are as well. Here is your KAY training manual. I always, when it's updated, I will always take out the old version and put the new version in here, as well as in the Facebook forum. Here is, we do have an account with Office Depot, and you are more than welcome to put your order for certificates and manuals on our Office Depot. But here is the account number and the card that you need to bring in, or give them the account number to put on. Okay, and then we have our Kidding Around Yoga. These are different languages, so these are for my US people, so you're not going to really need this, and you're probably not going to need this one. Well, maybe a couple of you will. The Spanish manual. I know a couple of people want to run Spanish trainings. Here's the example of the pre-training letter that I mentioned earlier was linked. So you can take this, save it as your own, and then edit. Please make sure that any of these items that you save a copy to your own drive and edit your copy, not the original. The trainer's roadmap here. This is just something I created when I first became a trainer, and it helped me to sort of keep track of all of my trainings and what I've done and what I didn't do, things like that. So I had quite a few trainings on the calendar at one time, so it was difficult for me to keep track. You may or may not have the same situation, but you don't need to use this. I just found it helpful, so I wanted to share. The first tab here is your info tab, and basically I just put the basic information for the second tab here for tasks. This is sort of like a checklist for me. So I tried to organize every single thing you need to do from start to finish for a training. First thing being finding your event location, right? So as soon as I do that, I put the date that I found it in here. So that way I know it's done. And I do the same thing all the way down the line. I tried to color code these sort of by section. So like this is sort of like the before stuff. This is like the once it's booked stuff, and about posting. Some of these are grayed out, all the gray stuff, because these are the items that you're only going to do one time. I didn't gray all this out because I'm going to post, on Instagram more than one time. So I always like to put the dates down so I know when the last time was that I posted about this training. And then closer to the training time, you're creating actually you're not any longer, I will have to change this. You are not creating the free family class any longer. We are, so that's one thing off your plate, but you do have to accept the invite to host it. And it is your responsibility once created to, tend to it, to make comments inside of it and answer people and post and all that good stuff. So I will make that update. But there's those things, and then this is like right before the training I do a few things. Then I'm preparing for the training, and then this last section is the stuff that I do to follow up to close out the training. So it just helps me keep track, and I make sure that I do everything that I'm supposed to do. The last tab is links and copy. So over time, I've collected different copy from different trainers that I thought made great posts and things like that. And I took them and I just put them all here. Of course, you can change whatever you want. Just copy, paste, change what you got to change. But I tried to organize it and choose the ones that I thought were best. So here I would put my the training event link from Facebook in this little yellow box. I would put the family class link here. I would put the training page from the website in this box. And then I'd put the link to the flyer over here. That way I have very, very easy access to everything I need. So under here I've listed all these different things, copy for Facebook teacher training event. So all I have to do is copy paste, and once I've posted for each training, like I'll highlight this, telling me that I know I used that, so that the next week when I come back, I don't have to remember what I posted last time. I could just choose a new one. If it's yellowed out, I know I used it already. So you can do that, and or make up your own posts, your choice. Over here, I've also once again provided easy links for you to get to certain things that you might need, like the training location form, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff that I sort of also showed you most of it of already. So anyway, just a good organization management tool for you, for your trainings. This is this training graphic that I believe we talked about this one already. So here it is for your reference if you forget what the 4 legs of your table are. Here's the waiver that includes safety and photo release for your family class during your training. And it has room for multiple signatures there. So always print that out to bring to your training with you. So those are the loose documents. Then back up here to these 2 folders. We'll take a peek in your marketing and promotions folder first. And in here, you have additional copy for trainers, this document. I did not create this. Natalie, our marketing person, did. And a lot of the copy I just showed you in that other on the roadmap is in here. There's other stuff in here as well. So you might want to use both or cross-check them, see what you like or don't like. So copy there for you to use. The next thing here are your Facebook ad links. When you click in, you're going to see all trainings listed. Advertisements for your training start to go out 3 months prior to your training date. So you will see the ads listed by training date. When you scroll down, you can choose the link for your ad, click on it, it will open Facebook for you and ask you if you want to see this in your feed, and you say yes. When that happens, it'll reload and show you the ad with all the comments that people made on the advertisement. This is different from the comments that people make inside your training event. You very well may not see these if you don't look for them in this way. So I highly suggest that you go in, especially if you're having a hard time filling your training, you should go in and try and maybe message these people who have commented and showed interest to see if they're still interested and see what kind of deal you can give them and what have you to get them to register. Just another little push for you. So that's kind of helpful. There is a PowerPoint here or video really that Natalie made for marketing your training. So that'll show you the ins and outs of all the things that you could do yourself to try and help market your training. And I believe she separated it into 3 separate videos, so they're not too entirely long. Here's that marketing timeline I talked about that sort of just gives you a general rule of thumb of like when these things should get done. And then the video that she goes through here with these 3 separate segments, the whole entire slideshow of it or the PowerPoint of it is right here. So without her voice track on it, but you could flip through the slides. And then this folder, you have images and video that you can use to help promote. So I'm pretty sure we update this occasionally with new exciting photos. We try and put, the best quality stuff in here for you. This is a great thing to point out. the discount meme. Again, I also, I do update this. Where is the other one? There it is. This is the one that you will probably use because this is the US one. Make sure you're using the one that says US. See, US. Lots of people like to put this as a post in their Facebook events. You could send it in an email to people, to past trainees, asking them if they know anybody, things like that. It's just an attractive way to show our current discount structure. So there's that. This folder will give you a bunch of sample email templates that you might want to send to schools. You might want to send to past trainees. You might want to send to studios looking for a location, different things like that. So just examples so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And we recently started the Studio Incentive Program, which if we haven't talked about it yet, we will talk about it. But the information on it is in this folder. So you can take a look there. Okay, so that's marketing stuff. And then if you back out again, this how-to folder is probably going to be the one that you're going to use most often. So there's lots of information in here because it's hard to remember how to do things if you don't do them every day. So one document is how to allow your trainees to claim CEUs with Yoga Alliance for all trainers. So this means whether you are a YSEP or you're not a YSEP, but you are a continuing ed provider, or you are not a continuing ed provider and you are not a YSEP. So all different combinations of things are on this page. It tells you exactly what to tell your trainees on how to claim these hours. This document is, we've been having some major email things, and so we put together, if you're using Gmail, how to ensure that none of your Kidding Around Yoga emails go to your spam folder if you have Gmail. Whether that 100% fixes any problems is yet to be seen, but it's definitely a good idea to maybe do that just to sort of eliminate anything that we can eliminate problem-wise. Okay, the next thing is how to log in as a student to Teachable. And the reason I did that was because sometimes trainers want to show people at the training how to log in. You will have some trainees who are not great at technology and never even started their modules because they had no idea how to get to them, and then they never asked us. So you might have to show them how to do that. So here are instructions on how to do that. Okay. Then we've got how to log into the KAY website as a trainer. This one's going to be really important for you to do because that's when you're going to go ahead and see your training view. That's where your information is about your training. Who are your trainees? You know, how old are they? What's their job? Where did they hear about us? How much did they pay? All that kind of good stuff is in there. So this is going to be pretty important about logging in. However, you probably already know how to log in. You'll just have different access, being that you're now a trainer. Okay, then we've got how to order manuals and certificates. This is telling you the specs to order for various locations like Office Depot. One of the online ordering places that I always use is Best Value Copy. Next one is how to set up your KAY email to forward to your Gmail so you can send from your KAY account. If you haven't already done that, you might want to do that, but again, this is only for Gmail users. Local KAY forums, how to set them up. We are currently working to streamline this and improve it. So these instructions might change slightly, but they will be accurate when it's time for you to create these groups. If you have to create the groups, you're only creating a local forum in an area where there is not one. Anyway, this is going to be the way that you want to do that. We want every single group the same, so make sure you follow the instructions there. Now, this is you currently, you're a TIT, but in the future, if you ever have a TIT, a trainer in training, coming to your training, this is a document that's going to help you think of things for them to help you do. They're kind of your assistant for the training. We don't want them to teach the training. You're the teacher, you're the trainer, but they should certainly be your assistant and do things for you that they will have to do on their own at their own trainings. So here are some ideas for you there. This is a procedure for what happens when there's an emergency and you can't run your own training. It just goes through how we deal with that, how we switch hands and all that kind of stuff. So take a look at that just so you know for a reference. This document, what qualifies me to be a CE provider? So this one sort of goes along with this guy up top. This is how to allow your trainees to claim CEUs. I know it's very confusing. Lots of trainers get very confused as to the difference between being a YSEP, being a CE provider, what makes you one or the other. So this document on the bottom hopefully will clear that up for you. And then when does a trainee not receive a certificate? This document used to be different because we used to have other reasons for it. We've narrowed it down, and the only reason you're not going to give a trainee a certificate is if they missed more than 60 minutes of your training. And that's that. So that's really your KAY Trainer Handbook. I highly encourage you to go back through, read some of these instructions, jot down some questions for our discussion later, and let me know if there's anything missing that you would like to see here, because I am more than happy to get it in there.